Welcome to the video. Today we will explore whether turning years of receipts and statements into a digital archive is a brilliant idea or an unnecessary risk. We will address security, practicality, and smarter alternatives. To keep things smooth, we will move step by step from the problem to solutions, and finally to a decision framework. Here is the agenda. First, we set up the big question. Next, we examine why people obsess about logging every purchase. Then, we briefly cover a disclaimer. After that, we discuss security risks and weigh benefits versus risks. Moving forward, we explore diminishing returns, smarter alternatives, tool trade-offs, and privacy safeguards. Finally, we present a decision framework, test your knowledge with short quizzes, and close with key takeaways. The core question is whether your backlog of receipts and statements is genuinely valuable or whether it exposes you to avoidable risks. In other words, is it a treasure trove or a liability? We will connect this question to real security concerns and the actual usefulness of historical detail. People often obsess about logging every transaction for several reasons. First, having a line-by-line view provides an emotional sense of control. Second, data visualization is inherently appealing and can make us believe more data is always better. Third, the perfectionist mindset tells us an incomplete dataset is not useful. Fourth, we assume historical data will reveal deep insights, but we may overestimate that. Finally, the availability of software tools creates an illusion that all data should be captured. Now, before we go further, we should establish a clear disclaimer. This content is educational and should not be considered financial, legal, or security advice. Your circumstances may be unique, and you should consult qualified professionals before making decisions about managing or sharing financial documents. With that foundation in place, let us examine the security risks. Receipts often reveal names, contact details, and the last 4 digits of accounts. While isolated personal data typically carries low risk for large-scale identity theft, the risk is not zero. Unique purchase patterns could be exploited for targeted coercion. If you include bank slips showing balances, those could inform criminals of your wealth. Hiring contractors adds additional access points and increases exposure. Malicious actors tend to target bulk data, so large archives are more attractive than single records. With risks clarified, we can weigh benefits against drawbacks. On the benefits side, a historical archive may uncover trends, refine categories, support taxes or reimbursements, and create accountability for spending behavior. On the risk side, there is privacy exposure from personally identifiable information, leakage risk from contractors and cloud systems, the danger of being profiled or targeted, and a substantial time cost with diminishing returns as the data ages. Next, let us visualize the diminishing returns over time. This pie chart emphasizes that the majority of practical value comes from tracking current spending and leveraging automation. A smaller portion comes from old receipts, which often provide minimal benefits relative to the effort and risk. Now, let us examine how usefulness changes across time. Over time, the curiosity value of old data stays high, while its actionability declines. Meanwhile, modern financial tools can summarize transactions without line-by-line entry. As a result, the return on effort shifts toward present and near-future planning. Tax or audit requirements are legitimate exceptions, and those should be retained as required. With that context, let us move into practical alternatives. The practical alternatives are straightforward. First, simplify by focusing on current spending and forward-looking goals. Second, use annual summaries from credit card providers and export to CSV for rapid analysis in a spreadsheet. Third, adopt receipt scanning apps that provide OCR and encrypted storage to reduce manual entry and exposure. Fourth, configure alerts and category rules to automate insights. Finally, digitize only the documents required for tax or audit, rather than every last receipt. Next, we will compare options in a simple table. This table compares 4 approaches. Manual entry provides granular control, but is error-prone and extremely time-consuming. Hiring a contractor speeds up processing but increases privacy exposure and vendor risk. Card annual summaries offer quick aggregation with easy CSV exports, but with less detail. Receipt apps use automation and encryption and allow exports, but require evaluating vendor trust and potentially paying a subscription. Now let us see how automation actually flows behind the scenes. In a typical automated flow, You upload a receipt photo to the receipt application. The app uses OCR to extract fields like merchant, amount, tax, and date. Parsed data is stored securely with encryption. You then review and categorize the entries and export them for quick analysis in a spreadsheet. By using rules and alerts, you can surface anomalies immediately. With automation covered, let us detail privacy safeguards you can apply right away. Key safeguards include data minimization by focusing on the current year and redacting personal details when possible. Access control is essential, including two-factor authentication, vendor due diligence, and appropriate agreements. Storage hardening should include encryption at rest and reliable local backups with versioning. From a process standpoint, delete unnecessary originals after secure capture and rotate passwords regularly. With safeguards in place, let us test your understanding with a quick quiz. Question: when might hiring a third party to digitize old receipts be most justifiable? Options are A, when you want perfect historical charts for curiosity, B, when required for an ongoing tax audit or legal documentation, C, when you have a tight budget and lots of free time, and D, when your data includes account balances and you want to keep them together. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. An ongoing tax audit or required legal documentation can justify hiring help to digitize essential records. Even then, the effort should be narrow in scope, with redaction and strong vendor vetting. Now let us apply all these ideas in a practical decision framework. Begin by checking if your backlog is older than 2 years. If not, track current spending and move forward. If it is older, determine whether there is a tax or legal requirement. If such a requirement exists, digitize only essential documents using an OCR app and redaction. If there is no legal need, assess whether you have trusted in-house capacity to do a minimal, safe summary. If not, skip the backlog. In every path, the default outcome is to focus on current tracking and automation. Next, let us do a second quick quiz. Question: which priority best reduces risk while preserving useful insights? Options are A, digitize every receipt from the last 7 years. B, focus on current spending, use card summaries and set up alerts. C, email all your documents to multiple contractors for speed. And D, store unredacted bank slips with balances in cloud folders. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is B. Emphasizing current spending, leveraging card summaries, and using automated alerts provide the best mix of value and lower risk. This approach limits exposure while preserving actionable insights. Now, let us crystallize the key takeaways. The key points are as follows. Old receipts provide limited incremental value, and the risk is not zero. Malicious actors tend to target bulk datasets, so minimizing exposure matters. Default to current tracking using annual summaries and CSV exports. Use automation with OCR while enforcing encryption, two-factor authentication, and proper vendor vetting. Finally, digitize only what is necessary for tax or legal requirements and redact sensitive information when possible. With key points summarized, let us wrap up. In summary, your financial data can either be a helpful tool or an unnecessary target depending on how you handle it. Shift the effort from exhaustive historical capture to smart, secure automation that supports your decisions today. Use a clear decision framework that prioritizes legal requirements and return on effort. Finally, if this helped, I have one more request. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, share it with someone who collects receipts, and subscribe for more content on practical money workflows. Let us know in the comments whether you think a receipt archive is a goldmine or a risk, and why.